Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and today I'll be showing you a quick walkthrough of my garden. I've been out of town on vacation for the last 12 days now. You will get to see my very first look as I walk through my backyard garden and my front yard garden and see what happened in the last 12 days. I tried to prepare myself as much as possible, but you're going to see there's a couple of things that probably won't make it or don't look so great, but there are things that look amazing. Back here is one of them. You'll see what that is. And bonus, at the very end of the video, if you stick around and you're interested, I took a ton of pictures of all of the amazing flowers and plants that Hawaii has in their landscape, and it's just spectacular. I also have plant names for most of them, and I'm pretty sure they're right. I researched them a lot just so that I could teach myself what those amazing plants were. They were so beautiful. So stick around at the end and I'll show you a quick little run through of the plants that they have on our beautiful island of Hawaii. So come along with me. Oh, let's just start off with the beautiful garden cat, Miss Chloe. We missed you so much. My neighbors were making sure that you got fed, and I just know she missed us so much. She's purring right now, y'all. So there's one thing that we missed for 12 days. Good to see you, Chloe. So let's start over here. The garden is lush, maybe a little overgrown. Maybe some of you love it. Everything's, look, I can't believe I have larkspur still blooming. That was already in bloom when I left 12 days ago, so that's amazing. I have another larkspur that wasn't in bloom though. So, and this is a pink one. This was kaleidoscope mix, so that's amazing. I've definitely got morning glory coming up everywhere. If you followed me last year, I let a wild morning glory plant grow up hanging like a hook, just like this one. My husband just put it here to make room in the garage, y'all. I haven't taken it out, but I let morning glory grow up there. It, you know, seeded itself like crazy. I knew it was going to, and it's coming up everywhere in here. So that is definitely something that happens when you're not keeping up. The spirea looks amazing. All of that new growth. Wow. The echinacea, this is Echinacea purpurea, is going crazy. It's almost fully in bloom. Let's see. I've got my white swan echinacea that is now in bloom. I wasn't able to see those blooms before I left. This, believe it or not, you can't even tell, but there is a container, a terracotta container. You see it peeking through, but wow, this vinca is going crazy now. The scaevola, that purple flower you see is scaevola, the rest is vinca. I've got dichondra silver falls in there somewhere. You can see it peeking out over there, but whoo, you can't even tell that's a container anymore. It holds limelight hydrangeas, which are now starting to bloom. I'm training this one to be a limelight hydrangea standard, which is why you see it is staked and in a cage. Wow. Oh, yay, the powwow echinacea. I only saw like one bloom. You see that snail. So definitely got to take care of some snails. Another beautiful, I think that's another powwow echinacea. So gorgeous. You know, oh, okay, this is one that I was really excited about. This one is supposed to be an orange variety. I forget the name of it, but it's still not quite showing its blooms. I'm excited for that one. Let's see. All of this is Plumbago ceratostigma. There is some of it in bloom. You can see it was starting to bloom before as well. And then all of this new growth that's above those blooms, that's going to start blooming very soon as well. I've got candy tuft. That's pink. It's like I forget what variety candy tuft it is, but it does have pink flowers in it. So that's really fun. Let's see. The star jasmine was blooming, still blooming. This is crazy. This is mid-June. I can't believe my star jasmine is still blooming in mid-June, and it still smells marvelous. I can smell it. This is a clematis. It's getting eaten by something. I've got grasshoppers, so that could be the culprit. Okay. My before I pass them, I'm going to do the containers. So it's mainly the containers that struggled a little bit. I did hook all of them up to irrigation. Plus we got rain like every 4 to 5 days. My irrigation was skipping because of the rain. We have a Rockio that's supposed to be smart enough to know when to skip. It works for the landscape, but it doesn't work for containers. Containers still need to be watered, and I should have just been manually turning these on. I was manually turning on the ones in the front because of my hydrangeas that are in containers in the front. They won't get watered with the rain. So I was manually turning those on. I was figuring the rain would be enough for these, but it was not. So this is one of my vacation fails. Chippendale daisies. I think some of you might be mad at me, but I think I'm going to pull it all up. I just don't think, like, if I pruned all of this back, I don't think the plant would survive. I'm going to try this week. Maybe it'll work. But if I prune it back, I see new growth. Good. If I don't see new growth, I'm just going to replace it with something else. And then the celosia definitely didn't survive. This is variegated celosia. Also had a little spider on there right there. I don't think that's going to survive. So this was a fail. That's okay. As gardeners, we have that. My herb planter did great. This is Gomphrena. It is so drought tolerant. I don't think you have to worry about Gomphrena. So yeah, it did really good. This particular variety is Fiery Sunrise. Desert Rose. Okay, I figured out while I was gone and doing some research on plumeria, because I got some new plumeria from Hawaii. Desert Rose is very similar, and then it just dawned on me while I was researching the plumeria. I have not fertilized this Desert Rose, and I've been wondering, why isn't it thriving? Like, it's doing okay, but there's not as many blooms this year. There's not as many leaves. And I've been wondering, like, does it need to be repotted? It was just repotted last year. You could go with every 2 years. Anyway, I didn't fertilize this poor baby. So first thing that's going to happen, she's going to get fertilized. And then if she doesn't bounce back pretty well after that, then I'm going to repot her and maybe even prune. Actually, I am going to prune. There's a lot of things I can see that will need to be pruned. It will generate new growth from the pruning. So Chloe is literally biting my elbow to try to get my affection. Hi. Oh, sweet girl. You missed us. Yes, we missed you too. Anyway, Desert Rose, it's still doing fine. But something occurred to me and I'll be fixing that. Poor thing. Echinacea purpurea. Wow, that one's huge. Star Jasmine we talked about. The clematis we talked about. I think I'm gonna go in for a little pruning on that as well to generate a little bit of new growth and maybe some reblooming. I have a Mr. Good Bud sedum that looks fine. This is a container that I think just needs to be pruned. I've got some deadheading to do. Oh, look, the bunnytail grass is blooming now. So there you see, this is a bunnytail grass bloom. The actual bunnytail grass isn't looking the best. Like I said, the irrigation could have been better on these. Here's my grasshopper problem right there. Ugh, almost got it. Okay. My verbena has looked better. I guess maybe this is what the old blooms look like. I don't know, but that's Verbena bonariensis is what that is. Balloon flowers need to be deadheaded. Strawberries are good. Ooh, I've got some strawberries to pick. That's super fun. Texas sage is blooming. That's great. It's actually, let's see, it's filling in a lot better. Still bare spots under there from this winter, but at least it's blooming for me right now. This is blue evolvulus and not in bloom right now. It was in full bloom when I left. These are so funny. These are blue bonnets, still actually blooming in mid-June, believe it or not. And then this is my hardy hibiscus. It's summer carnival. Grasshoppers are chewing it up. Just don't know what to do about those grasshoppers. I've got a crepe myrtle, and then this is a container. If y'all are looking for heat tolerant, drought tolerant, don't worry about while you're on vacation. This is Gomphrena, several varieties of Gomphrena with Cosmos apricota. These plants are superstars. So this is my favorite container combination so far for 2025. It's just stunning. This is a dwarf gomphrena called Buddy Purple, and then this is Gomphrena globosa, and then I said Cosmos apricata. All three are doing absolutely perfect. I have my mammoth dill, and it's blooming now. How gorgeous is that? I never did get caterpillars, y'all. It's coming up on like needing to be harvested, you know, so I'm probably going to take that out. I don't know why the butterflies never found it for their caterpillars, but I tried. But I will keep it around for right now, just because the blooms are so pretty. So pretty. This is another one that did not make it. Rudbeckia and Azuratum. So, ooh, yikes, what kind of a caterpillar is in there? Oh boy. And there's a little bee, but there's definitely a caterpillar on there. Do not know what it is. I'll figure that out. But yeah, this one didn't make it. That pot is probably too small for as large as this Rudbeckia got. And so obviously it was drained for nutrients. Drained for nutrients and also water. So, man, I'm going to be taking that out. Sunshine ligustrum, never have to worry about it. Only have to worry about pruning it. Speaking of pruning, wow. Okay, so before I left, I got one bloom from this Mexican sunflower, also known as Tithonia, and it is in full bloom now. But the problem is, and I knew it was going to get big, I just didn't realize it was going to get this big. This is probably at this point, okay, so that's 8 feet tall, my sunshine ligustrum, and it's so 7 feet tall. That's as tall as my Mexican, and I knew it could get that big, y'all. I didn't realize it was going to take over the space, and it's taking over the light that my limelight hydrangea needs down here. So I plan to kind of come in. I know it might look a little drastic, and it might be drastic, but I'm going to cut that. Everything that's from here out that's taking away sun from my limelight, I'm going to be pruning that. So yeah, but gosh, it's just like neon vibrant. Neon. It's unbelievable. What an unbelievable plant. I wish I could get this, but in a dwarf variety. But man, it's gorgeous. And then over here I have sunflowers that are in bloom. And then, let's see, everything back there we kind of can't even see. I do have coleus. Wow, that's rainbow coleus. The coral honeysuckle vine is blooming again. I didn't expect that. That's awesome. Just a little bit sporadic blooms. Yeah, I see a little bit back there too. That's so cool. Okay. And then I have daylilies down there. I prefer not to go down there right now. Oh, wait, is that a Tithonia in bloom, or is it my red daylily? We gotta find this out. It's my red daylily. Wow, that's gorgeous. Okay, hang on. Oh my goodness, this is new. I've never seen this plant bloom before. Wow. And I had a white ambrosia daylily. Looks like I've got more blooms coming on it, but it's not. But look at that. That red one, I'll pop the name on the screen. I forget the variety, but it's gorgeous. Okay, excited about that. Here is my coreopsis. Needs major deadheading. Probably pruning big time. I don't know. That one may have struggled a lot as well. So I'm going to prune that one back. And look at this. Mosquitoes everywhere, y'all. By the way, we didn't see a single mosquito in Hawaii. You would expect, with it being a tropical environment, mosquitoes would be everywhere, and it doesn't get cold enough to kill them off. No, they're not over there, y'all. That's crazy. Wow, this has been a rock star. This Love Lies Bleeding Globe Amaranth is unbelievable. Did not skip a beat whatsoever. And it's gorgeous. Holy moly. This is the funnest plant I think I've ever grown. It's so fun. There is some kind of beetle on it. But you know what? It doesn't seem to be affected at all. Just rock star. This, I was not even close to blooming. This is another blanket flower. It did okay. And then I have zinnias, State Fair zinnias, and a white gomphrena. Yeah, they're doing awesome. This is a little lime hydrangea, doing great. And then I'm afraid to even walk back here, but it's gorgeous. Okay, let's go see what's going on in this is my part-sun yard. The first thing is my canna lilies are in full bloom. They're gorgeous up there. I've got, volunteer canna lily coming up through. Peonies. Peonies are doing fine. This was a blanket flower that blanket flower does not grow well in part sun. There's a foxglove right behind that. That's good. This is going crazy. It's Greg's mist flower. Volunteer zinnia. Here's the mist flower blooms. So those are fun. Oh, I have a coreopsis. Again, not really great for part sun. They flop and become more like ground cover. Kind of the same thing with the Greg's mist flower. Candy tuft. I think this is a sunflower. I let it grow. It's a volunteer. I've got rudbeckia, purple heart, daylilies. Oh, these were blooming yesterday. When I came back and just saw a real quick glimpse. And we'll get a bloom maybe later on. But this is rose mallow. And it's doing great, actually. And there's a katydid. Almost got it. They're everywhere. Okay. Hydrangeas are in bloom. Look at that. They were way behind my other hydrangeas. Here's one thing I don't think is going to make it. That poor little coral bell. I have no idea what happened to it. It does have some new growth. There's snails, so I need to get some snail bait. I still have not gotten it, so that coral bell is doing great. Hydrangea in bloom. The other coral bells are doing great. I think the other one got peed on, to be honest. I apologize if you hear my HVAC. Everything looks good. Okay, good. Another rudbeckia. So there's the oak leaf blooms that I'm gonna be pruning off now. They were gorgeous, but they are done now. And so I'll prune those off. A little bit of a rebloom there. Okay, and then I have my autumn fern that I thought I killed that I did not kill that's coming back. So that's super fun. Mexican petunia is coming up, which is awesome. Ooh, okay. All right, so everything looks good in this area. Nothing too bad. This container's looking pretty good. Foxtail fern. The jasmine is climbing up this pole vigorously. And then I have these fuchsia hanging baskets that I was slightly worried about. They look like they're coming up on another third bloom. So they're doing okay. Those of you who have been wondering how the fuchsias are, because they typically don't do well in super heat, they're actually okay and in their third bloom. Here is my other autumn fern that is doing unbelievable. My hostas doing great. Ooh, that hydrangea is really growing. That was a baby at the beginning of the season. Okay, so spotted leopard plant, and I knew this. It died before I left. That used to be there. Here's giant leopard plant, and it's doing pretty good. Snails are getting at that hosta for sure. I kept forgetting to buy snail bait. And then the Brunner is looking great. That's good. So walking out onto my front porch, my tiered planter is empty. I'll show you where I put those so that they could get watered while I was gone. This guy was point of concern for a little bit. It did get a little bit crispy, according to a neighbor, Stacy. If you saw her garden video, I just posted that a couple weeks ago. But Stacy came over to check on things just a couple times to make sure that irrigation and plants were, doing okay. And this one was a little bit crispy, but it looks great now. Because again, my irrigation kept skipping because of rain, but these guys don't get overhead rain. So anyway, this hydrangea is looking awesome. And a little bit of chlorosis going on, so I'll probably treat that with soil acidifier and iron chelate, or chelated iron. And then just moving around my porch. This always kind of looks the same, just keeps growing and growing. I should probably trim that up. That is English ivy. My azalea is looking good. Not lots of new growth. Something just hopped out of it. Everything looks good. Gerbera daisies, not blooming, but not surprised. It gave me a great show in the spring, and now it's leafing out. Before I move on, there's this guy that looks great. Tradescantia zebrina with the English ivy underneath it. All right, so let's see. This is my blanket flower, or gaillardia. It was just starting to bloom, so now you can see there's some spent blooms mixed with I just love the wispy nature of this. It is probably going to prune this so that it doesn't like impede the walkway, but looking good. So these petunias I completely trimmed down before we left, and here they are in bloom again, which is fun. There's that billy button finally. I guess this is the billy button bloom. But when you think about it, it doesn't look much different than the spent gaillardia blooms. So I'm not sure I'll grow billy button again. I haven't had great success with it, and it just looks like a dead-headed gaillardia, really. Lobelia is still doing great. Yarrow finally bloomed. It's white, or whitish purplish. That's awesome. The ageratum is not doing well. I probably will pull that out. On this side, look at this. The Carolina Sapphire Cypress is going crazy, needing to be pruned. I slightly pruned it before we left, and I think all of those parts that were pruned are now like just sprouting out, which is great. It looks good. I'm very happy about that. And then down below, these Chippendale daisies in the landscape are amazing. Ageratum is amazing. Looks like my variegated liriope, this one is blooming. The others did not. They get more sun than they should. Black-eyed Susan vine, all volunteer from last year. I did not plant it this year, and it is going crazy, it looks like. I'm going to train it up that espalier trellis. Let's see, there's my boxwoods looking good. I need to get these vines out. These vines are coming up everywhere. They always do every year, so I got to get those out. Coming back, obviously Sunshine ligustrum needs to be hedged this time, big time. I don't want it to overtake. There's some echinacea down there. Beautiful new variety, well, new for me variety. I forget what it's called. It's something red, but it's a gorgeous red, two of them. Gorgeous red echinacea. So I don't want the Sunshine ligustrum to overtake that. We've got the sparkling amethyst, verbena doing great. May Night salvia is reblooming. That's super fun. And then the zinnias. So I had completely pruned back these zinnias before we left, and not a surprise, they are complete blooming again. So beautiful. And then the rudbeckia is in full bloom. Wow. It looks great. I do need to clean out the bird bath. My daylily is still giving me blooms, which is super fun. The most blooms I've ever gotten from this daylily. It's now in its third season, so that could be why. I've got some white gomphrena coming back there. Did not look like that when I left, so that sprouted up. Sweet William's still going strong. This is going really, really well under here too. So the dichondra is not taken over on this one, whereas in the other one it's completely taken over. Looking so good. Oh, that lemon ball sedum is starting to get a little bit overtaken, so I'll try and get that rudbeckia pulled back because it does not like that, but it's doing good. Ageratum in full bloom. The Dusty Miller's doing good. More ageratum. So yeah, the Dusty Miller's kind of taken over my ajuga. I pruned that back before I left, but I'll probably prune it again. But it is in bloom. And you know what? There's a little bee. It looks very similar to yarrow. And I didn't like these blooms before, but for some reason I really like them now. Coral bell, ajuga, hydrangea is looking awesome. Again, those echinacea. There's another daylily back there that's a red one, and it looks like I missed one of those blooms right there, but it's about ready to bloom, so that'll be fun. But wow, that hydrangea is looking amazing. I can see there's some new blooms since I left. The old blooms don't look old at all. Again, that sunshine ligustrum really needs to be hedged back. I got a rebloom on my ajuga. That is awesome. See, these vines is what I'm talking about. They need to be pulled up everywhere, and including in that sunshine ligustrum. Really, really bad. But, oh, there was a hydrangea that one of my daycare kids' grandparents gave me for Mother's Day. Beautiful. It did not survive the transplant super well. I had to cut those blooms off, but you can see there's new growth on it, so it's doing okay. I expected the vitex tree to be overgrowing right there, and it's getting more sun than it probably should in that location. So we will see, because last year the vitex tree was completely over this area and shaded it at this time of day, but I pruned it back pretty heavily, and I thought it would just bounce back and go back over there, but it really hasn't. So we'll see if that hydrangea survives. It's more sun than it should get because it's midday at this point. But one more look at that Rudbeckia. There's a little bee. It's so sweet. Oh, I forgot. There's another Gomphrena there. Some Cosmos. They're doing great. That begonia is doing awesome. And then my balloon flower out here is blooming as well. It's kind of fallen over, and so is the Rudbeckia. So I'm going to come get some plant stakes and stake those guys up. Again, that daylily is reblooming for me. Last year it really didn't, so I'm happy about that. But more balloon flower with those vines I need to pull. So super interesting. Those zinnias, they just look so beautiful. So, oh, I skipped over this. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at this. The Limelight Standard. It needs a little bit of water, I can see. I'll probably water it. We were expecting rain. We did get rain, actually. So it should be okay, but I'm going to check the soil in a second. But gosh, it's in bloom, and look at it. This is the third or fourth year of it, and this is finally the year that it gets that tree form shape. And I let it get a ton of branches this year because it has a lot of structure down below now, because I've built that the last several years. So I let a lot of these up, and they are a little bit smaller blooms than if I had only let, maybe 10 of them up. So when you prune it back heavily and only allow a few branches, they will be really large blooms, and if you allow all of them to bloom, they'll be a little bit smaller blooms, but they're gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Okay, so from here, let's go and look at my porch containers that I put on the side of the house so that they could be watered. Let's see how they did. They're getting more sun than they should. These guys are getting a little tiny bit of midday sun, and I didn't know how they do, but they're looking pretty good. So begonias, looking good. I can prune some of this off. Ajuga does fine. This is a leatherleaf fern, I think is what it's called, but it has just always struggled. So it's not surprising to see some dead. The coleus needs to be watered, otherwise it's fine. This coleus is awesome. It's a Proven Winners fishnet stocking coleus. The angel wing begonia, oh my goodness. Dragon wing, I'm sorry. This was not blooming when I left, and it was not this big. It apparently does like a little bit of sun, but there's a little bit of scorch. Wow, okay. This coleus is taking off as well. This was grown from seed. Don't remember the name. Coloca Rose. There you go. From Baker's Creek. Those begonias, they're doing okay. I think they're on their way out, to be honest. I've pruned these guys back. They're just not, they were like last season's begonias that I got on clearance. So just a little tired. Foxtail fern actually did really well, so I can tell it likes more sun than it was getting. That one's doing good, and again, that begonia is a little bit crispy. Again, one of the last season ones I got on clearance. And another ajuga, doing good. Okay, so they did okay. I'm gonna move all those back over, prune some things off. You know how it goes. And And last but not least, I always tend to forget these curbside containers because they're not immediately in my front garden. But look, y'all. Wow, the vinca is taking off. We had a lot of rain, and vinca doesn't always do amazing with rain, but this vinca is doing amazing. Look at this little bee on the Mystic Spire salvia. The Mystic Spire salvia is doing great. This one had newly planted rooted cuttings of the Superbena sparkling amethyst, and something's going on with it. I may prune that back just a little bit, but it looks like we're getting a little bit of new blooms there. So it's just newly planted, barely rooted, so it's not doing amazing. But then this one is the original one from last year that I took these rooted cuttings from, and yeah, it's doing good. But that's just, they are doing so well. And in this one, because the Superbena sparkling amethyst is from last year and nice and established, it's mixing in with the vinca in the front here, and it just looks amazing. Okay, so this might also be one of my favorite containers so far. It is absolutely beautiful. These are all superstars for heat, superstars for drought. So, of course, they did spectacular while I was gone. And again, the pollinators just absolutely love this Mystic Spire's blue salvia. Another great look at that garden. Love it. So all in all, the gardens did great. There's just a couple of containers that I think are going to need to be replanted or redone. But that's to be expected when you're gone for 12 days. And I only had Stacy come. I think she came twice just to check on things. She did water some of those containers that did not get watered properly because the irrigation was skipping. And that's it. Otherwise, the garden was self-containing, and now I need to do some weeding and pruning and, you know, all of those things. So stick around from here. I'm going to show y'all pictures that I took from Hawaii, specifically the island of Oahu. Some of these are going to be the botanical gardens pictures. Some are going to be just pictures that I took around the resort that we stayed at. And then some are just around the streets of Waikiki, Honolulu, and other places that we visited. So stick around if you want to see that. But thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.